I'm Caroline Simpkins, a former ballerina turned researcher, and in today's episode, we're diving into something that's both invisible and essential to every dancer: our bones. Ballet dancers are often admired for their strength, grace, and athleticism, but beneath the artistry, their skeletons are under intense pressure, literally. A new study titled Pilot Study of Bone Turnover, Biomarkers, Diet, and Exercise in Elite Female Ballet Dancers looked at how the bones of elite female ballet dancers respond to the extreme demands of their training schedules. And what the researchers found is fascinating. Ballet dancers may actually experience more bone breakdown than bone building, even though they spend hours each day in weight-bearing exercise. Today, we'll unpack this paradox, look at what it means for dancer health, and explore how science might help prevent career-ending injuries like stress fractures. Our bones aren't just rigid structures holding us up. They're living, dynamic tissues. Old bone is constantly being broken down and new bone is formed, a process called bone remodeling. This balance keeps our skeleton strong and resilient. For most athletes, weight-bearing exercise like running or jumping stimulates bone formation. But here's the twist. Ballet dancers, despite hours of daily training, often show low bone mineral density and are at higher risk of bone stress injuries, especially in the feet, ankles, and legs. This is the paradox the researchers set out to investigate. Why do ballet dancers, who should be building stronger bones, sometimes end up with weaker ones? This was a pilot study, meaning a small, early investigation to test new ideas. The participants were 5 elite female ballet dancers from the Royal Ballet in London and 6 women from Imperial College London who served as controls, which means a comparison group. The dancers were on average about 29 years old, while the controls averaged 24 years old. The researchers measured bone breakdown using a marker called NTX, bone formation using a marker called P1NP, and also looked at estrogen metabolites, diet, body mass index, and exercise hours. Over 8 weeks, the participants provided urine and blood samples, kept diet diaries, and also logged their exercise. The findings revealed a clear pattern. Ballet dancers had a significantly higher NTX to P1NP ratio compared to the controls, which means their bones were breaking down faster than they were rebuilding. 2 dancers in particular had very high ratios, and both had a history of fractures. The dancers also trained much more, an average of 46 hours a week, compared to just 15 hours a week in the control or comparison group, with some dancers logging as little as 8 hours per week and others as much as 85 hours per week, depending on their rehearsal and performance schedules. Surprisingly, the dancers and controls ate similar diets in terms of calories, protein, fats, carbs, calcium, and vitamin D. So nutrition wasn't the main factor driving the differences. However, the dancers did have a lower body mass index, or BMI, averaging about 18 compared to 21 in the controls, which often means less body fat and can influence hormones. The researchers also looked at estrogen metabolism. When estrogen is broken down, it can turn into forms that either help protect bones or that don't. The ballet dancers were found to have more of the weaker form, in technical terms, a higher 2OH to 16OH ratio, which gives less protection for the bones. This shift may make the dancers' bones more likely to break down. So, to put it simply, the dancers' bones were under stress, breaking down faster than they were being rebuilt, despite similar diets and high physical activity. This matters because bone stress injuries, like stress fractures, are one of the most common and devastating injuries in ballet. They can sideline a dancer for weeks or even end careers. The study suggests that bone health in dancers isn't just about training volume or eating enough calcium. It's about the balance between breakdown and repair, influenced by hormones, body composition, and the sheer intensity of rehearsals and performances. The researchers proposed that monitoring bone turnover markers, those NTX and P1NP ratios, could become a valuable screening tool. Imagine a simple urine or blood test that helps identify which dancers are at higher risk before an injury even happens. That could transform how dance companies and medical teams manage dancer health, shifting from reactive treatment to proactive prevention. So, what are the practical takeaways from this research? Because dancers' training hours vary so dramatically from week to week, a one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work. Biomarker testing could help tailor training loads, rest periods, and recovery strategies. The altered estrogen metabolism in the dancers also highlights the importance of monitoring menstrual health and hormonal balance. This ties into the awareness of the female athlete triad, the connection between low energy availability, menstrual dysfunction, and low bone density. Prevention strategies could include more rest during peak training periods, cross-training to reduce repetitive bone stress, and nutrition plans that not only meet calorie needs, but also support bone metabolism. Of course, it's important to note that this was a very small study, just 5 dancers. The findings are promising, but they need to be confirmed in larger groups. Future research should follow dancers over multiple seasons, track how biomarkers change before and after injuries, and explore the effects of contraceptives and menstrual cycles. Combining biomarker testing with imaging of bone density would also provide a more complete picture. But even with these limitations, the study shows that it's possible and worthwhile to study elite dancers in this way. So what does all this mean? Ballet dancers are not just artists. They are high-level athletes whose bones are constantly adapting to extreme demands. But adaptation has limits. If bone breakdown outpaces bone formation, dancers may be left vulnerable to stress fractures and long recovery periods. The exciting part is that science may soon give us the tools to detect these risks early. A simple test could help protect dancers, extend their careers, and keep them performing at their best. And beyond ballet, this research has broader lessons. It reminds us that more exercise isn't always better. Rest, recovery, nutrition, and hormonal health are just as important for strong bones. If you're interested in exploring the research further, I've included the full citation and a link to the original study in the show notes. If you enjoy this episode, please follow this podcast, leave a review, and share it with your friends and dance community. If there are specific topics you'd like to hear about in future episodes, feel free to share them in the comments below. You can also follow Ballet Science on social media and visit our website at ballet.science for additional information. Thank you again for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Ballet Science Podcast.